And we're live.
Hi, how are you? I don't see you, Kevin. Where are you? We are live. Welcome to our weekly Facebook Live event. We usually have it on Wednesdays, but we thought because of the vice presidential debate, we would do it on Thursday. So thank you for joining us. Wow, lots happened since we last saw you last Wednesday. Who knew? Oh my gosh. I think we're all trying to just right ourselves like a keel on a boat in the ocean, and hopefully these fake Facebook Lives serve to do that, because I think in the end, travel brings us back to being human and connecting with people who are not like us, people who are different in culture and in look and in age, and I think it just makes us all better people. So let's talk about it, shall we? Where's my husband? There he is. All right. Hey, Kev.
Hey, sorry, I forgot to do the two camera thingamajig.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Kevin and I are actually in the same place. So with the last time we were doing this, you were upstate, right?
Yep.
Right. So you were upstate and I was here, so we were in different locations. Now we're in different locations, but in the same home. And you're probably wondering, well, why? And like I said, our last week, we have started ramping up our season 4 schedule of Places to Love. And our first episode back since the pandemic. Of course, this is ongoing. The pandemic is not anywhere near over, but we think it's controllable enough that we can start traveling again and shooting our Emmy Award-winning travel series. Our first episode back will be Dutchess County, which is in upstate New York, technically upstate New York. And then our second episode is in Colorado Springs. And so Kevin was there scouting. He just got back a few days ago. Actually, was it last night? A few days ago,
Yeah,
wasn't it last night, Kevin? Okay,
something like
sorry.
that. Yeah.
Something like that. And so just to be very on the side of caution, because we take the virus very seriously, Kevin is sort of quarantining upstairs. He got a rapid test today, totally negative. And yes, I am socially distancing from my husband, and I've never felt better. Sorry, I'm kidding. It's really awkward. I got to tell you guys, this is not easy. It's really weird when your husband comes to the door and the kids want to hold him and everyone, and it's just like, okay, this is what we have to do. Kids understand. Daddy's going to be in a mask when he's ever in the house. He's going to be upstairs in his office, and so the first rapid test came back negative. But then, we need to kind of keep up with that because stakes are high. And again, we take, I think when Kevin scouts, of course, we meet so many people, right? We are in places and meeting people. And so you want to make sure you're protecting yourself, others, as well as your family and the community you live in. So yeah, this is probably the hardest part of what we do right now. Um, but we love what we do and we want to get back in the saddle again. And it's funny, Ellis, when Kevin and I were testing this evening, Kevin was on the screen and Ellis came around and they had a nice conversation. So he's just up there. So we've really kept Kevin away from the kids, and again masks and all that kind of fun stuff. I give Kevin meals like prison style at his door, and I open it up and I slide it in and I quickly shut it. Okay,
It's
look
pretty
at
hot.
that. The prison warden. She's, what you drinking tonight, Kevin?
I realized I was a little behind. I'm about to make my Negroni because the Negronis are a cocktail of the evening. So I'm going to mute my microphone and let you talk so I don't like blow everybody out with stirring cocktail noises.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I can handle that. So this week, our let me see if I'm going to start the.
I'm about to make my Negroni.
And I just lost you, Kevin.
So I'm going to mute my mic for everybody out with
Can people hear me? Because I don't hear anything anymore.
Yeah, I'm muted. You're fine.
I am fine. Okay, now I'm looking at. Sorry, it's a little technical. As you can tell, like Kevin's the technical brains of this marriage, and like I don't know anything. Like I'm like, how does this work? What's a Facebook Live? I don't know. I'm such a luddite. So like, if anything goes wrong, he's not right there. I'm like, I don't know what to do. But I do know how to talk about travel. I see a lot of you guys. David Dean, does Kevin bounce a ball off his walls? Yes. And when I came in, David Dean, he had marks on the walls. Each mark marked an hour he didn't have takeout from an award-winning Park Slope Brooklyn restaurant. So, it's tough. It's really tough here. Um, we've got people from Florida, Catherine Ryan from Dallas. Hi, Dallas. How are you? Um, Jeff, you're here. Jeff Rumplick. Wait, she doesn't cook. What's she giving you? Bread and water? That's a great question, Jeff. I don't cook. I gave him Chinese takeout because that's what we do. That's why I love living in New York City and Brooklyn. We do like one night we get takeout from Mexican, the next night it's Thai food. After that, it's Oaxacan. Like I don't have to cook at all, and I eat so well. In fact, when the kids don't call it anymore, but call this anymore, but our kids would call him the dinner man, and that was the delivery guy who brought. We always get these like roasted chickens with rice and beans. Like, is the dinner man coming tonight? I'm like, yeah, he is. So today, though, we are. Any other questions coming in? I know so many people are joining us. Yay! Because I still want to like interact with people with their questions because that's what it's really about. Carlos Carrillo. Colorado Springs here. Awesome. We'll be coming your way. I'll be coming your way in probably 2 weeks, most likely 2 weeks. I think that's it. I haven't done the math, but yeah, so very soon. What a beautiful spot. Really excited to shoot an episode there. And holy mackerel, it's good. We've lined up some great things to do. And of course, I think Colorado beat out Florida for the most traveled destination this summer by Americans. Florida's usually first. But for obvious reasons, their COVID wasn't under control. Colorado just woof. And of course, the great outdoors and being with people. So it really became a place to come from. Marilyn Monrose, hi from Wisconsin. Hello. From PA, Jill Barbera. Hey, wait, is that a Barbera, Kevin?
What?
A Jill Barbera? Jill Barbera from
Maybe.
PA?
We got family folk.
Barbera family. We've got family folk named Barbera. Yeah, exactly. So hello. What does a Negroni taste like? Lori wants to know. Oh my gosh, it
Winning.
really is one of the best drinks ever. It is. It's
Speaking
orange
of which,
and
cheers,
bitter.
everyone.
Bitter. Oh, cheers. I'm just drinking a nice white wine. Cheers. We didn't have an official drink really this time around just because this past week has been such a dumpster fire. We felt like just you should drink whatever you need, right?
This is the official drink. Did you read the post? This is the official drink, the Negroni.
What? I did the post. You did another post? How is the Negroni the official drink of Monterey Bay in California?
Well, since you asked,
Very good. It's okay.
it has something to do with my hat. I don't know if you can see my hat there.
And Nepenthe, yes.
Yeah,
We'll be talking about them soon.
So, Nepenthe, I don't know if you need Nepenthe or whatever, but the original building there was bought by Orson Welles and Rita Hayworth when they were on a war bond kind of trip up the California coast during the war. They were newly married, and they were just driving, I guess, between LA and San Francisco, and they stopped in Big Sur, which was like nothing going on there at all, and they found this little cabin, and they bought it for like a couple $100. And then I think their marriage fell apart and they sold it. But they sold it to the guy that built this restaurant, Nepenthe, which we feature in our episode. And what was Orson Welles' favorite cocktail? The Negroni.
Negroni, wow. That's amazing. So it wasn't Rosebud. It wasn't like a cocktail about the sled. Sorry.
No, and also I was hoping that maybe we would enjoy a nice Nicholson wine, but that's actually at our place in the Hudson Valley. So that was the other thing.
Yeah.
That was actually my first plan.
So we've spent a lot of time in this area doing Big Sur and Monterey Bay, and I do these travel shows, travel speaking engagements. I've done them for about 8 years, 10 years, 12, 15 years, and there's always San Francisco and Los Angeles. They're usually back to back, a week apart. And so once we had kids, we started taking advantage of that and just driving from San Francisco to Los Angeles or Los Angeles to San Francisco and just going right up right up the coast. And Kevin, have we brought the kids there twice? Is it 2 trips? I know
I
we
thought it was
brought
twice,
the kids. And,
but I think it was
yeah, I know.
once.
There's something.
Doesn't make sense,
Yeah,
but I only
it's so
found photos of
weird,
one
doesn't it?
trip.
Yeah,
So
okay, so maybe that I'm all right. So I feel like we've done this a lot, but but we did this trip, the road trip. We left San Francisco and went to Los Angeles. No, we left Los Angeles. No, oh gosh. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But just a magical drive. Pacific Coast Highway 1. There's nothing like it, and when you're driving down it, you can't even believe you're in the United States anymore because it feels otherworldly. It's just stunning. I mean, soaring mountains on one side, the Pacific Ocean on the other. You go through these fabled towns and cities and great beach towns, and we just had an amazing time. I think we've got some fun pictures of like and of course, like the big thing for growing up in New Hampshire, we don't have in New England and Kevin in Maryland, we don't have that exalted landscape, that sort of like I don't know, frontier meets ocean landscape, and so we loved it. And we have this. I think Kevin has first pictures of us at Bixby Bridge, which is the
yep.
iconic bridge there on Pacific Coast Highway. Yeah, that's just amazing. I mean, it's just wow. You kind of look and you could be like in Ireland. But it's California, and it's such a beautiful spot. And it just can't. There's no bad photograph of it that even people who don't necessarily photograph well
Well,
still photograph well.
I mean, these photographs are beautiful, and like as you said, even my ugly mug looks nice in Big Sur, California. That's the old me. That's the pre-COVID.
I took a good picture. Yeah.
That's the pre-Corona beard.
When we were there, there's no there's just like a straight drop, and we were there with 3-year-olds, right? So it's just like hold on, and as soon as we pulled up, we get out, and there's this man, and he's got a bunny here, and a bunny on his head, and I know what my kids are going to do right away, and I just turned to them. I'm like, don't touch the man with the bunnies. All right, don't touch him. Okay, don't go over to him. We're not handling bunnies from the man. And so, they're just 3 years old. They're like, yeah, fine. And so, like literally 6 months later, my son wakes up from getting up out of bed, and he goes, Mom, remember when you told me not? And I'm like, and I already know where he's going. Not to touch the man with the bunnies. I was like, yeah, why? And I was like, well, but I just found that fascinating about a child's brain, that like at 3 years old, they just do what their parents, or maybe not what their parents tell them, but they don't understand the reasoning. But like all of his brain slowly formed together over 6 months, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. And then finally, just like that moment stayed with him forever. And then two sides of his brain connected, and was like, wait a minute, why couldn't I touch the man with the bunnies? Interesting story. The man, I think, was arrested for being a little strange. So my mother instincts were right. Anyway, so that was a really amazing time. Taking a picture of my husband while my mom was with us, and she had the kids, but was like, okay, back in the car, because that was really scary. This other picture is us shooting at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and I think you'll agree, just a fantastic shot. And that's the kelp forest. Which is really rare to have. I think it's maybe the only aquarium in the world that has grown a kelp forest, and you actually think you're kind of peering out you're actually like jutted out into the ocean, and it's not. It's an actually man-made kelp forest, and a beautiful place, and you'll see the episode soon. So we went there with our kids, and we fell in love with it, and we're like, we have to do this when we came back. I don't think what else to share from this.
Found the bunny man.
Oh, that's the bunny man. Would you let your children go up to that bed? And here's the thing: we were just like on the edge of nothing. Yeah, I mean, adorable, but I'm like, don't touch him. Don't touch him. Don't ask for the bunnies. I know it's cute. It's kind of what he wants. So I just feel like we're not going to do that today. Anyway. The other fun thing that when we were in Santa Cruz, we went to Santa Cruz, and we spent a little time on the boardwalk, but it was cold, right, Kevin? And we were kind of looking for things to do, and there's thousands of things to do. But one just came, just like was the thing to do, and that was going to the Roaring Camp, which is the train ride up through the redwood through a redwood forest. Wow, you are on it today. This is incredible. This is like one of my presentations, and
Doing it live. I'm doing it live.
Yeah, I know. That's great. So I when I saw that we could do a train ride through the redwoods, I was so excited because the redwoods are incredible. But also being on a train where I finally just got to sit down and zone out, I was like, we are doing that. And it reminded me at the time growing up in Cape Cod, how my mother, every year we'd go to Cape Cod, made us do the Cog Railroad through the bogs. I'm sorry, the Bog Railroad. We would do a train ride through the cranberry bogs, which it doesn't get much more boring for a child than that. Like, we could be in the seacoast, we could be splashing in the waves. Why do we have to do this train ride? And it was only until I was a mom myself that I realized why. Like, you get to sit down and you just get to zone out and just, like, maybe your nerves start to unfray a bit. And I remember calling my mother and saying, I know why you did all those train rides when we were kids. I now know why. And she's like, yep, that's exactly it. But it's a great train ride, and you get to get out and walk amongst the trees. And yeah, so like in one trip that we were there, like you see the redwood forest, and then we saw the elephant seals, and we saw Monterey Bay Aquarium, which is one of the best aquariums in the Kevin, I think that's like a jumbo jet landing going over our house, going towards LaGuardia, or well, probably more like JFK, but it's loud. So it's good to see they're flying. Anyway, so we've been to this area a couple of times, but it's no less magical every single time. So we're really excited to do this show. We postponed it a couple of times because of the fires, and wow, I mean, just really just heartbreaking, devastating news what's happening in that area. Also, Napa and Sonoma. So our hearts go out to you, and we're just glad that we get to do this episode to see just to send love your way, knowing that you're gonna make it through, because you've made it through a lot. And one of the reasons why we were really excited to do this episode, well, and now I'm going to stop talking because it's getting late, is that this Pacific Coast Highway, there were a few, especially Big Sur communities, that were totally cut off because of the mudslides. I don't know if you remember that. I believe it was 2017. Is that correct? 2000, maybe.
That was 17, yeah. And there was two major bridges in a Big Sur on the north and south, and both were swept away.
Both swept away, massive mudslides. It took months upon months to dig these streets, this roadway out. It cut off entire communities. It stopped jobs. It stopped, and they made it. And so these are tough people, and they live on the edge of a continent, kind of staring out, and you can tell they're from good, tough stock. So again, we love you. Our hearts are with you right now. It is unfair, truly unfair, but we know the power of travel and the community that we have here. We are here to see you soon and to support you in any way we can. And a lot of these people, you can support them right now. They've got a great online presence. So with that, I think... well,
we have a couple more pictures here. Just kind of some fun behind the scenes when you were at the... Brussels Sprout Place, and then just a couple fun ones from our road trip. I love this picture of our kids.
Oh my gosh!
At the Monterey Aquarium.
That's
yeah, and then in the redwoods. Just
oh my gosh! Yeah, exactly. Oh, little guys, send me some hearts. Right, I can say that on Facebook Live. Send me some hearts. Heart me now.
Smash that like button, bro. Stuff. Yeah. We're getting cool.
There must be a delay because I see nothing. Or I got one heart.
Hey, we got a heart. We're good.
Another coming. Oh, another coming. Okay, all right. We got about a 30-second delay because I'm like, wow, no one's sending love to me right now.
I tell you, before we get started, there's we try to post these ahead of time, and we get a lot of great comments and likes on Facebook before we even start the live thing. And I tell you, this just came in from Stacy Hawkins, but it's one of those things. If you're going to Big Sur, you have to stop and get a photograph. And
Oh, yeah.
we were showing you ours, but like, I mean, it's one of those things. As we do this trip, and I'm sure we do this trip again.
Oh gosh, yeah, yeah.
That we'll definitely be stopping again in there. It's a magical place. But just a couple quick things about just the magic of Big Sur in this part of California. Just some great comments. Paula Subaj, she met her husband there 30 years ago.
Wow, wow.
Taking a step further, Stephen James Wilson, they plan on scattering their ashes there.
Nice. That's a great place to. Yeah.
Here's a
It's part
little
of
more
our
upbeat, little more upbeat one. Craig Thorich
Yeah,
asked his wife to marry
married
47 years ago.
Nice.
Awesome.
Our marriage is still great, and we've been back to this special place. Wow.
This is my favorite one.
We were there during the Summer of Love, 1967. Monterey Pop Arts was awesome,
Pop
and people
Arts.
were camped out. All,
So
Pop
Dave, if
Art
you're
was
watching,
all-
is 67 when Jimi Hendrix did his famous? I know, I'm pretty sure it was the Monterey Pops, but I'm not sure if it was
Star Spangled
67. I thought it
Banner?
was more like 69, a little later than that. But just to say you were there for something like that, that's pretty amazing. I went to like the first Lollapalooza. That's like my generation's version of that. Doesn't have the same kind of. Okay.
I saw Cats. That's my claim to fame when it first arrived on Broadway.
And Pamela mentioned about what we were speaking about earlier about the huge mudslides they had that took out those bridges, and it just this September that she's referring to was when we were filming there. There's always a question we get: when were you there? We were there in mid-September because this was the last episode we filmed for season 1. The last one to air was our Oregon RV episode that we shot directly before this, but this was the last, our final shoot for season 1, and the bridge wasn't open yet. It was just about to open, I think, because you guys had to hike in, right?
Yeah, I'll tell that story when we get to it. But yeah, we had to hike.
All right.
I say we start.
What is that noise? Oh, are the children being rambunctious?
Yeah. Hey guys.
I'm going to mute you so you can scream as loud as you want. All right, she's muted. All right, let's get this show started, I think.
I'm traveling through one of the most stunning stretches of earth and sea in
Sam,
the
you were
world,
back
where the fury of the Pacific
online.
meets the curve of the cliffs and all the bountiful land in between, where the owners of a winery are the ones pouring the wine, where farm stands give lessons of history and hard work, and a famous road and family restaurant has been bringing people around the world together for over 60 years. This is where a tenacious abundance of landscape, ocean, and people meet. This is Big Sur in Monterey Bay, California. I'm Samantha Brown, and I've traveled all over this world. And I'm always looking to find the destinations, the experiences, and most importantly, the people who make us feel like we're really a part of a place. That's why I have a love of travel and why these are my places to
And
love.
the kids just slammed the door on me.
Samantha Brown's Places to Love is made possible by
Europe is a treasure trove.
Speaking of
of
alma
fascinating
waterways,
history, rich culture.
Yeah.
Samantha's
So
Alma
you can
Waterways
join me-
Bordeaux trip.
Yes, please join me. July 29th. It won't be that exact boat, but it'll be close to it, and we'll be going through Bordeaux, which will be phenomenal.
Yeah, and for our different sponsor, but also we're doing the Rocky Mountaineer train through Vancouver and the Canadian Rockies. That's May 29th. And all of these
Yeah, I
you
believe
can
that's. Yeah.
all of these you can book at the AAA travel page, samb.tv/AAA. Lowercase AAA, by the way. I tried it. It doesn't work if you uppercase.
I feel like I'm Fonzie, Samantha B. Hey, right?
With its Pacific Coast Highway stretching 655 miles, California has one of the most epic road trips you can take. And I'll be traveling through a small but monumental part of it, starting just a few hours south of San Francisco and making my way to the incredible Big Sur. But I begin my trip in the ocean.
Gorgeous. That's through glass. Like you wouldn't think it. Amazing.
I'm starting this trip at a place that gives us a window into another world. The nonprofit institution Monterey Bay Aquarium, a pioneer in the preservation and protection of marine life.
So we're mesmerized by the sharks, the jellyfish, and the octopus, but we love sea otters.
And you're not in the minority because they look so cute. I'm Mary Belle Andonian, and I'm a volunteer at the Monterey Bay Aquarium.
Is that one otter or
That's
two?
one. That's one otter doing somersaults. This is my favorite place in the world to visit, and it's also my favorite place to share with visitors. The kelp forest was a big gamble for the aquarium. This is what started everything. The 4 founders of the aquarium were all divers, and they wanted to be able to share their experience diving in the kelp forest with people who don't dive, and planned an exhibit to look like what it is that they would see when they went diving off the deck of this aquarium.
So you're saying that this was a difficult habitat to create?
It was one that had never been created before.
In the world?
In the world, ever. No one had ever tried to exhibit giant kelp. So in 1984, when the aquarium opened, this was the signature exhibit. In the wild, it can be 90 feet tall, and it grows 18 inches a day. So it's the fastest growing plant on Earth, but it is a plant.
And is it undulating? Is it moving naturally? Are you using the bay zone movement, or is there a machine?
There is a machine, and it's creating a wave that's moving the water around. It's also open to the air and to the sunlight because it's a plant. So it needs sunlight to photosynthesize.
This is the magic of this aquarium, is that you don't know what is a habitat and what is real. I mean, you really could think that actually we're just peering outside now into the water.
That is exactly
There's that
right.
illusion.
Yes, there is. And I have been diving out there, and it looks exactly like this.
I got to stop it here.
You stop. Yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we've done. I'd say most places we visit that have aquariums, it's like, oh, you got to check out our aquarium, and it's always, always try to be nice, be like, oh, it's great, it's so great, but there's no aquarium like the Monterey Bay Aquarium.
No, there
It is.
isn't.
We've
Yeah.
been there 3 times now, I think.
Yeah, and I've been to a lot of aquariums too. Just wow.
The
The
you want to
integrity of
spend
it all.
day
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, the integrity of it, the fact that you do really question, like, are we staring out into the ocean right now, into the water? Is this an environment? And we made a very conscious decision to go with Maribel because she is a volunteer. Of course, any of the marine biologists on hand would have talked to us, would have been there, but we really wanted to show the effort that it takes to maintain this, and that volunteers give institutions like this, organizations like this, thousands of free hours, and that allows them to survive. So we really wanted to shine a light and really elevate the role of the volunteer. She's a diver, she loves it, it's her second career, being here at this aquarium, just helping people really understand the grasp of what it's achieved.
All right.
That magic continues with the incredible Open Sea, a 1 million gallon exhibit with a 90-foot panoramic window that reveals the incredible intersection of the ocean's travelers, both fast and slow.
These are open water species that you would find in the ocean. So we've got some tunas, we've got sardines at the bottom, we've got mahi-mahis swimming around.
Oh,
Sorry.
And you just see the fish swirling and moving and undulating. It's mesmerizing.
This gives you insight into some of the animals that really need protection.
And when visitors come to this aquarium, we're here for the enjoyment, for, of course, the education, and that's where you're an amazing aquarium, but you're also an advocacy group,
Absolutely.
and your client is the ocean, really.
Our client is the ocean, and the message is that we are all part of this huge ecosystem, and we need to preserve all of it for our own purposes.
This sheephead is a dominant male.
When people come to the aquarium, they have a chance to see what is under the water. Most of the time, people can only see what's on top of the water, and all they see is pretty much a blank space. Underneath the water is where all the action is.
and just a few things there, if you can
So as you're
stop.
driving
The
down
Monterey
road,
Bay
you're just
Aquarium.
going past
Okay.
mile after.
Just a few things there. The Monterey Bay Aquarium is still closed. And I'm not sure when they plan to open, but obviously once you head in that direction, check and make sure. But they are offering online classes everywhere from like kindergarten up till junior high, and they also have printables and activities for children as well. I think that's fantastic. I mean, you really are going to the most trusted source for marine biology and the protection and the conservation of marine animals. But it's a really special place. There's one more thing I wanted to say about the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and now I forget. Okay. And the octopus in the kelp forest. Just if you have Netflix, what is it? My Octopus Teacher. Oh my gosh, unbelievable. Watch it. My kids are awake. What are you doing?
A mile of beautiful produce.
I have no control.
You're looking at the vegetables, trying to judge from its leafy green head what kind of vegetable it is, and it's just best to stop off at one of the farm stands because that tells you right away what's in those fields. I was going past a field of artichokes. I've never seen artichokes grow out of the land. And this is Pizzini Farms, and look at that. They've been family farms since 1929. And these are heirloom green globe artichokes from Italy. The actual root came here from Italy, and they've grown all these from one mother root. It is unbelievable. It's pretty amazing to think of heirloom. You see that word a lot, heirloom tomatoes, and usually they plant a seed that they find to bring it back, and yet your family has never lost it. It's actually your heirloom that your family's been bringing up for close to 80 years.
Right. My great-grandpa, Valentino, he brought it over from Italy with a couple of his brothers and some other Italian immigrants. And they planted it here, and it's the same root system that's just been producing for years and years and passed down through the generations.
How many harvests do you have? Is it a year-round?
We harvest year-round, but spring is by far the main harvest. And then these ones, they take about 9 months to actually form the artichoke. So they have a lot of meat on them, and it's very flavorful.
So the pictures here tell your family story beautifully. So who's that young gentleman right there?
That's my grandpa Guido as a kid. And then the picture to the right is his dad, the first generation Valentino, my dad Tony.
Tony?
Yeah, and he's up the picture, he's on the right over there. And this picture over here is me and my brother. I'm the one on the right, and there's my brother.
Have you ever thought about that your great-grandfather bringing that one root with him over on a ship to the United States allowed you to set down roots?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's pretty neat. And I think it'll, generation after generation, it's going to continue too.
Great-grandfather is Valentino. Your grandfather is Guido. Your dad is Tony. How'd you get Sean?
Yeah. I have to say one of the more fun things that we did when you do that drive, in our case, I think we were starting in Monterey, going south around Monterey Bay towards where that is, Salinas, California, and all that stuff. The produce there is amazing and so cheap. It's just there was it was something like 8 grapefruits for $1, and you're like, how? But when the farms are right there and everything grows so fast, it's one of those things like, even if you're not planning on buying anything, just stop in, because it just to see that it's this is where so much of what makes it to our table comes from there. Just to see it there, and these farm stands have everything. I mean, we featured one really kind of boutique-y thing, but I mean, there's farm stands that have everything there. It's really cool.
Yeah, and just a note on that, Pizzini, the farm, I looked it up. They're still alive and kicking, and their heirloom artichokes. They begin their fall shipping in mid-November, so you can get in touch with them and ship their heirloom artichokes to wherever you are. And I just thought, I'm going to do that and have them for Thanksgiving, or maybe I'm going to send them to some friends and family that we can't join because of all of this. And then I even thought, I'm going to put a little note that says, I know things have been tough, but our hearts remain soft. Get it? Get it? Give me some hearts. Give me some hearts.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
My name is Kim Solano. I'm a restaurateur here in the heart of the marine sanctuary of the Monterey Bay.
Within that heart is the tiny town of Moss Landing, home to Kim's restaurant and gallery, the Hot Enchilada.
These are halibut cheeks, and this is arroz Catalunya.
Here in my restaurant, I try to bring together my love of the ocean, the land, and love for the arts.
These are crusted in gluten-free panko and Parmesan cheese, and then it's got a nice beurre blanc sauce with the caperberry.
So you're not just Mexican. You're
No, we're a Latin
influenced.
fusion. We have Cuban dishes, we have some Brazilian dishes. It really is a fusion.
I'm joining Kim and her father, Ray, who's also a restaurateur. In fact, her place is a direct spin-off of his, the Whole Enchilada, a Moss Landing institution since 1979.
You have one restaurant, you have the other. Your mission is very similar in that you want to be something even bigger than just a great meal along the way.
Right.
You want people to think about where their vegetables come from.
Right.
You want to think about the land that they're looking out on and the sea that they're looking out on. You really want to connect the dots here.
Right. Mixing things together. It's just like this world. We have to learn how to work together, how to blend together, how to do this. And this can come through with food. Because we're not only white, blue, or black, we're going to be a mix. And that is what we need to do in this world, is make it better for all of us.
Wise words.
Father and daughter have a passion for food that goes beyond feeding hungry locals and travelers.
Moss Landing is a little town that you could easily miss. And it's exactly the kind of town you want to drive into when you're on a long trip, you know, up the coast. It's perfect.
Moss Landing is really a unique little area. Small, but beautiful. And it has a lot to offer.
Now, what I love about your restaurant is it's this really vibrant blend of not only food, but art and landscape. And whether you're outside or inside, you're just a part of this joy. And it's really lovely.
And a major factor of the appeal of Kim's restaurant is the signature art of her husband, Luis.
The art gallery really originally was all about him. And now we represent over 65 other artists as well as his work.
I love the Marilyn Monroe. That's
Yeah, well, that worked out really well. She was our artichoke queen.
the very first one, right?
Yeah.
You knew that there were a lot of people traveling through, seeing seeing the coast.
Yeah.
So you saw that as a way
Yeah.
to be a part of that journey, because you really are a part of people's journeys when they
And
stop by.
we have a highway here, goes from San Francisco to the Monterey, Carmel, Big Sur, especially the Big Sur that we have. That's such beautiful area that brings people all over the world.
And I'll be making my way along
and
that highway
just a
to
quick,
Big Sur.
Kevin, if you could
But
stop.
First, a stop near the lovely...
So the hot enchilada is open. The whole enchilada is open. They've reconfigured things. They've made it, COVID compliant, and they're doing fantastic. So you can visit them at any point. And I know I've seen a lot of the comments. People love it there. A great energy. I love what he said about that. Like, we've got to learn to work together and be together, because that's what it's all about. You can't get that. I don't know. Like, what are we here for? A lot of funny jokes. Jeff Galat. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Jeff. Jeff Galadite. Oh, you know what? Yeah. A lot of people are joking about the bunny man. You can't stop with just one bunny. They're rabbit forming. Very funny. I like that. And then and then Catherine Ryan said that the aquarium does a Facebook live feed every day. So I don't know if she's telling me that I'm slacking by only doing it once a week, or if she's really promoting the aquarium. And I think she's really promoting the aquarium. And I also know that they do, not only do they have a Facebook live feed every day, but they have a live cam of the jellies, which is everyone's favorite. The jellies is everyone's favorite. And you saw our shot of like those jellies, those orange jellies coming in through the blue. I mean, that's meditation right there. So again, a lot of great ways to support the aquarium and just see what they do on an everyday basis. Roll tape.
The city of Santa Cruz, which is consistently cited as having some of the happiest residents in the United States.
It's true, a lot of people in Santa Cruz surf. And a lot of people around the world look at Santa Cruz as a community of surfers, but we're so much more than that.
You're gonna start?
Yeah. Okay. I'm Marguerite Pisano Nicholson.
And I'm Brian Nicholson. And we own a boutique winery in the Santa Cruz Mountains. I thought your middle name is Rose.
That same fog that clears the way for the surfers of Santa Cruz ambles upwards to lay across its vineyards.
And how long have you had Nicholson Vineyards?
We opened up in, 2002?
2002. Okay.
About 15 years.
All right.
Yeah.
And were the grapevines already here?
No, we planted all this. In fact, this row we planted with the headlights with our cars.
Yeah.
Because we had so many vines left over that we ran out of time, and we had to put the headlights on this row. And this is our best producing row.
Because agriculture is such a big part of our community, we truly have a great respect for the people who work the land.
With 3 small blocks of grapes totaling 4 acres, Nicholson Vineyards is as personal a winery as you can visit.
You have a farming background?
We both grew up with grandparents who owned ranches in Santa Clara County and spent a lot of wonderful years running wild through cherry orchards and pear orchards. And we wanted to have the opportunity to raise our family in that environment. There's a lot of life lessons learned in a field.
We thought about Christmas trees.
Yeah.
And we said,
they don't taste
it's
as
romantic,
good as wine.
So we did grapes, and we were selling grapes.
Just to jump in, Denise asked what was the wine I mentioned earlier. It's the wine from Nicholson. We still have a bottle left, and we were waiting for a special time to have it, and it's not tonight, unfortunately.
No, we need to be together for that.
Yeah.
It's too special.
And then we won a gold medal as a home winemaker at the fair, and we said, maybe we should go commercial. And we did, and that's when she took
We
over.
worked ourselves into full-time responsibility, which we love. But you know, it's not just about the wine. It's about sharing our love of the land. It's about enjoying our little piece of heaven here. It's about sharing our history. That had a big part of motivating us to wanting to do this.
Nicholson Winery has such an intimate production that the only way you can enjoy its wines are by ordering them online or making the trip.
That is wonderful, by the
Oh,
way.
thank you.
That has that crisp acidity
get
that
that crisp-
I love in a Chardonnay.
It is.
Not too oaky.
Right, it's not,
It's a
it's
very
not your
light
typical
oak.
California.
No.
Do you feel like you have to re-educate people on what a California
Every
Chardonnay
weekend.
is? So why is this crisp? Why is this fruity?
You know, the history of the land is so rich with the fact that there were apples here for 100 years that we wanted to celebrate that. We wanted to represent the land. And so it's very crisp, very citrusy, very clean, very refreshing, and it tells you a little story about the history of our land.
This is your favorite? Cheers.
Oh, that's perfect.
I think,
About an
you know,
hour
David
south
Dean,
from Santa Cruz
hey,
is
Kev.
Carmel.
So, David Dean said that, you know, we've done a lot, our editor said we've done a lot of wine scenes and vineyards, and this is one of the best, and I totally agree. Just because of its small boutiqueness, of course, when you're doing anything about California wine, it is a major industry, but it's just made up of these small vineyards as well that really don't sell in stores, and we love the fact that you have to go to that vineyard, or you can order it online right now. Should you want to have something super special. One of the scenes that got cut, one of the conversations that got cut from the scene was that their vineyard, they had like 4 plots, and the biggest plot they named after all their children, but the biggest plot was named after their son, and their daughters were really upset at that. And it was really funny, and they were all there that day because it's a family affair, and they all helped pick the grapes. But they were just like, yeah, and the daughters were like zinging the poor little he's like 21 years old. The son, like, you're the favorite, and you're the baby, and you always got what you wanted, and like he has like the most grapes, and really just lovely family. And I absolutely like it. When you go to California, make sure you stop by these vineyards, and sometimes like the Nicholson Winery, I believe they're only open for tastings on Saturday and Sunday, but you know, sometimes they'll just say like by appointment only, and I know that can feel really intimidating or exclusive, but it's not. It's actually when you should call, because they're just so small that they don't have a staff of people to be there for bus loads, so that you understand that it's a really special experience and really great family. And boy, would we have an amazing, they then said, hey, we want to treat you for dinner, and they brought in all this wonderful Mexican food from their favorite restaurant to our crew. They fed us. So it's just that California hospitality of just love and just miss them. They're really a wonderful family, and it really shows through in their wine. And I'm so glad they didn't plant Christmas trees.
Samantha, I don't know if you know this, Samantha, but the software we use to do these Facebook Lives only has the ability to do one of these kind of remote call-ins. And when we decided that, I was gonna be quarantined and I needed to take the other call for us to do this kind of virtually, it meant we couldn't have a special guest this week. And we had the ex-mayor of Carmel on the Sea ready to go, Mr. Clint Eastwood, and it's a shame that we had to cut him for that. But,
Oh my gosh! I think going crazy is a product of COVID, Kevin. Maybe you do have it. There's been a lot of comments about how lucky you are. There's a bar behind you. You don't have to take care of the kids. You've got takeout trucked in. You're drinking a Negroni. You might be milking this, right, guys? I think he's milking this.
I finally have the upstairs bar I always wanted.
Exactly.
By the sea. Yes, this is the town
now
where
we're about
Clint
to meet
Eastwood
someone really
was once
special.
mayor. But there's a new kid in town, and he has created quite a buzz.
My name is Jake Reisdorf, and my business is taking care of bees and making honey.
So you're 14 now. Mm-hmm. When did this all begin? How old were you?
It started around 3 to 4 years back. So I was 10, going on 11, and just kind of decided that this would be a cool thing to do. My business started out as a homework assignment in the 5th grade. I got an A, not a B. The assignment was kind of a real-world assignment where I got picked to be a website designer. I was like, okay, well, I have to have a topic to build my website off of. I had taken a few beekeeping classes previously, and I decided, let's do it on bees. So I went out and got hive and started, keeping bees a little bit, and it just kind of grew and grew and grew. Started selling honey to teachers and friends, and then we went to farmers markets and just kind of worked our way up the ladder.
You make it sound very easy, but you are keeping bees.
Yes, thousands of stinging insects. You have to be a little bit crazy to do that, but I gotta admit that.
What do you love most about bees? Because you care for them.
No bees, no food, no people. Simple as that. Yeah, I love the most about them is that they're kind of like their own compass city, basically. They're able to survive on their own, and with a little bit of help from us, produce honey.
Yeah.
Jake's family joined me in the tasting room at the back of the shop, where I learned that sampling honey is as precise as tasting wine.
So just grab your spoon and one of the wine glasses. You can smell it, and you kind of want to just smear it around the outside.
Okay.
So
really
get,
good.
yeah.
Okay.
So you can just smell a little bit better.
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm. And then you just want to get a little bit of it, and then give it a little taste.
Oh, that's lovely. Mm-hmm. And so you have the jars, you're producing the honey, you're going to the farmers markets. Now you have a shop. Most parents, when they have to help with a homework assignment, it's like creating a diorama, right? Cutting out that shoebox.
Getting crafty.
You now own a business, right?
Yes, I think we took it a little too far, a little too literally.
So this is really a family effort. You couldn't have done it without your family.
Yeah, definitely.
What I love about your business is you also give back.
Yes. I get back a portion of my proceeds whenever you buy a jar of our honey. It gives back to honeybee research and education.
How are bees beneficial to where you live? Because
Yes.
you live in an agricultural
Exactly.
area.
So they pollinate 1 out of every 3 bites of food that you eat, no matter where you are. They are so essential to survival as a human race. Without bees, we would die off. I mean, it just wouldn't happen. We'd have huge food shortages, and it would just not work. So.
I love it. We're, as you know, as adults in this world, we're always talking about the children and the younger generation taking over and making things better. And the younger generation is here.
Yeah.
Good job.
Sharon Rizzo, perfect. She said, you have faith in our youth and the next generation, and it's so true. And everyone loves Jake Reisdorf. He was such a delight. He's doing really well. He's got a great website that you can buy from, and his mom told me this very funny story. This was off camera. She said that they go to these major honey events and conventions around the world, and he travels now to Turkey and I think they were at a honey convention in Turkey where they learn. He's like, and there I am with my 14-year-old son. And the person presenting is saying how they now know that eating honey or putting honey helps hangovers, helps you recover from a hangover. And she said, my 14-year-old son leans over and whispers in my ear, we got to get my honey into every college in the United States. So she's like, he's this entrepreneur and he just thinks about the big picture where she, the parents are obviously made this happen, but it's really him kind of driving it. So, yeah, and his shop, if you ever go to Carmel, is just beautiful. And he has all these really stuffed bees, like honeybees, like stuffed animals. And that's his little sister's doing. She's like, we have to have stuffed animals. So everyone kind of helps out there. And I'm glad everyone loves him the way we did. Just fantastic. He got an A, not a B. Very funny.
Samantha, just if you could jump in here. Rita Perez asked, what's the name of the company again?
It's Carmel Honey Company, right?
Carmel Honey Company? Okay.
Carmel, no, I'm sorry. Let me, oh my gosh, I have it written down. That is a really great question. Let me quickly
we'll
look.
get it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that is Carmel Honey Company. Carmel.
Okay. I
Can
think
you see me anymore?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm looking it up because that's a.
So my opinion on the scene is that I think one of the charms of not only our show but most travel shows is that most people you interact with on camera aren't people that are typically on camera, and that sometimes doesn't go so well because they're not people that typically are on camera. They're not professional, actors or spokespeople, and
They're not speaking in public. I mean, that's hard.
Totally hard. But Jake is about as camera ready as you can get. He was awesome.
Yeah. He's the whole enchilada.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the Carmel Honey Company. Yeah.
Carmel Honey Company.
Oh, and actually, wait. And didn't we find out about him from them? Yes, we did. Whew. She's still firing at all synapses. Yes, I think we were at the whole enchilada first, and we're talking to them, and they're like, well, we get this honey from this kid. We're like, what? Because we always, wherever we are, we never leave a location when we're scouting to find out about somebody else. Like, well, who else should we be talking to? And I'm almost positive, like they kind of put the light bulb in our above our heads. I could be wrong about that, but I do know without a doubt that the whole enchilada and hot enchilada serve Jake's Carmel Honey Company honey.
That's great.
Funny, but just a funny connection, yeah.
Now, on my way to Big Sur.
Just enjoying the California coastline, one beautiful curve at a time. I'm going to be making a stop at Garapata State Park, and this is sort of the unofficial beginning of now the Big Sur land. It's when you start to see that the houses are few, the cell phone service is zero, and the views just get better and better. I wanted to come down to this beach here in Garapata State Park because even though I'm following all along the coastline, it's one of the few places you can actually get on the beach. You have access to the beach. And I just wanted to get closer to the Pacific Ocean.
The Pacific Coast Highway, or California State Road 1, was started in 1934, and it's over 650 miles of beautiful landscape, running from Orange County, south of Los Angeles, north to San Francisco. It has been designated as an all-American road.
So for me, Big Sur has always been this elusive destination. Like, how big is it? Is it a town? Is it a region? Is it a state of mind? And it's really all of the above. But there's no doubt that where I'm standing right now is its epicenter. And when you look out through the Bixby Bridge and out towards the Pacific Ocean, that is when you could say, I have been to Big Sur. Okay, back in the car.
So Samantha, I know
this is when we learned about the Bunny Man no longer being there. They're like, oh, did you hear about the Bunny Man?
So you don't have the benefit, since you're not sitting next to me, to see what I've queued up next. So this is a little fun for Kevin here. But we talked about the Bunny Man quite a bit. We talked in the beginning, the middle, and now we're now kind of towards the end of the episode. The Bunny Man, the famous Bunny Man at Bixby Bridge, and the story was that Samantha told her children, "You can touch the bunnies, but you can't touch the man." Well, guess who touched the bunnies?
Oh my God, love her. Aww, she's my little bunny.
I think she's looking at me like, how come I can't hold the bunny? How come she gets to hold the bunny? She gets everything. Anyway.
That's adorable.
Back at it.
Next day, I'm up bright and early to explore the PCH on a kind of vehicle I have never used before.
So these are electric bikes. I've never been on an electric bike.
Basically, you have a throttle here, like a scooter. Have you ridden a Vespa or anything like that? Okay, so same concept there. And then when you pedal, it automatically senses and launches you along.
Okay, so I still pedal, even though it's electric?
You'll still pedal. You can do it with just the throttle, but you won't get the same range. So for us to make it to the waterfall and back, you're gonna have to work with it.
Oh, okay.
Just go real gently, point it in a safe direction, away from the cliffs.
Away from the cliffs,
yes.
Thank you.
Sometimes I say funny things.
This stunning stretch of the highway I am biking along was cut off on two sides by mudslides in the spring of 2017. But since this ride, the northern closure has already opened up, and the southern closure is scheduled to be cleared by the summer of 2018. But
should we talk about that? I mean, again,
yeah,
we
so
were there.
You can no longer do this. Yeah, we got to do something you can no longer do, and so we took advantage of it. This road was closed to traffic, but they allowed bikes to be there. So it was an unbelievable once-in-a-lifetime experience because of something really bad that happened. But oh my gosh, to go down that road all along the ocean and holy mackerel. And so they no longer have that tour, but they have really great tours. They have like a Big Little Lies tour, because that's, really important, popular show now. So they go to all the locations on the bike. They have an Old Coastal Road tour, a 17-mile drive tour. So you can get on that bike and just see phenomenal stuff. But unfortunately, what I did right now, well, maybe, I don't know if you can. I don't know if, I think right now, if you're doing that tour, you're doing it with cars, which I don't know if I want to do, because everyone's looking at the ocean. No one's looking at bicycles.
True. Yeah, but we had to hike in all of our equipment and people because the cars could not get into there.
At this point, we did?
Yeah, I thought.
At this point. Oh, yes. Definitely for Nepenthe, but yeah. So where we were there was, and they built it up. They were just like where we were staying, we were cut off. And so, we have we travel with 8 people, 7 people at this point, and we have all of our gear, and we hiked into a state park and then had to go up this traverse. And I was so excited for this hike. And it literally lasted for 20 minutes. And I mean, I was ready to go for 3 hours. I was so excited. It was like a field trip. And my life is kind of like a field trip. But the hike was great. And the locals built these wonderful ramps for school children because schools were cut off. I mean, it was just unbelievable how it totally cut off one community. And they said after that they were everyone was glad when the bridge was rebuilt. But it was kind of nice having this walk every morning, and kids got slimmer. Obesity rates came down. There was, and people just helped each other. So again, it just shows at people's darkest hours, the best can still happen. And so I loved it. I thought the hike was wonderful. Maybe Brian Miller, our DP, didn't like it with all of his camera equipment, but we helped him out. We didn't have to carry everything. But so it was a really cool experience, I have to say. It was an awesome experience.
right now, we've got one of the most famous stretches of road all to ourselves. And without the noise of cars, we can hear other things.
Oh, yeah, look at them.
There you go.
So what are those? Are those sea lions?
Those are sea lions, yeah, the ones barking like that.
They make a lot of noise.
Golly, they are going crazy.
Something's happening there.
There's a point where you realize there's nothing between you and a 500-foot drop to the ocean.
I'm pretty sure that these big, huge, massive boulders that were placed were actually to tell us to stay on the other side.
You think so? Oh,
That's just me.
And now the exclamation point of our trip, the McWay Waterfall.
This is just obviously one of the most spectacular spots on the planet.
And you were telling me that the Spanish conquistadors named Big Sur.
it was inaccessible, so they skipped it. They went through the Salinas Valley and all the way up around to Monterey. And they just called this El País Grande del Sur. And it got slowly anglicized into Big Sur, so it was a Spanglish name.
You know when the conquistadors can't get through something that it's pretty tough to get to.
What the conquistadors never knew was how worth it would have been to stay. And for Joaquin, El País Grande del Sur will always be his home.
The Big Sur inhabitant is a different type of person. You're a bit autonomous, I feel, here.
Well, I think you need to be. The road goes out, we get wildfires, the power goes out all the time.
So the people here, how would you describe them?
Well, you get a large variety. My grandmother and all the old timers, they were hardworking rancher types. And then in the 50s, you had the beatniks come in. Henry Miller was, one of those who sort of, I think,
ushered in a different
thing.
Henry Miller used to play ping pong?
And Henry Miller would show up, and my grandfather and he would crack open a bottle of Crevassier and play ping pong all night and just have great tournaments.
Oh.
It's hard to imagine Henry Miller.
When I do this.
It's hard to imagine Henry Miller doing something as simple and innocent as playing ping pong.
As playing ping pong, exactly.
You've ever read Henry Miller?
You need to play ping pong
If
after.
there's one destination that can harness the tenacity and beauty of Big Sur, it's the world-famous restaurant Nepenthe.
Your parents bought this property from Rita Hayworth and Orson Welles.
Yes.
Well, I wish every story began with that. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. I'm Holly Fassett. I've lived in Big Sur all my life, and I run my family's restaurant.
Was there nothing here? Was there just a piece of land?
Nothing, just the log cabin there and a big grassy hillside. Nepenthe is a Greek word meaning no sorrow. So when you come here, you forget all your worldly cares and you just feel great.
Was it for the purpose of opening up a restaurant? Was that what your parents had in mind?
My dad was thinking of opening up like a little hot dog or hamburger stand on the highway, but even back then in 1947, the locals were like, no.
When you walk in, it's just so clearly that this place is magic.
People definitely feel that way.
The effort that goes into magic, what is that like?
I just want to do what my mom and dad had in mind and keep their vision going.
Holly's son Kirk runs the restaurant and helps keep Nepenthe the destination that it is. And her daughter Erin helps keep their grandmother's vision going. Erin is a Big Sur artist, and her own paintings hang in the Phoenix shop next to the restaurant. And the sweater she hand knit is not for sale. I asked.
My grandmother's vision really began because traders from around the world would show up in her living room and put down beautiful Persian carpets and African pottery, and she would often buy all of these things, and then the next thing you know, she had built this place. Most of our guests are going back into a really stressful, busy, demanding life, and this is really a place where they can get away from that for a while and just rest their soul. It's one of those places on earth where you can just breathe. You know, a guest here should be able to sit down and just receive the beauty and just be restored.
I believe that if you love what you encounter, you will protect it. And the area and its inhabitants are definitely worth protecting because it is such a unique environment.
We are so excited for our travelers to discover what we are crazy about. We've got these beautiful beaches. The local farm stands are a must.
And you have the opportunity to visit not only a sea-based community or a mountain-based community, but you have the chance to experience an agricultural-based community as well.
You stop and you'll be astounded.
When traditions begun a half a century ago are still a part of the experience today, when we are dazzled by a life we rarely get to see, when we enjoy lessons in taste, history, and hard work, that is when we share a love of travel. And that is why Big Sur and Monterey Bay, California are places to love.
Wow.
For more information about this and other episodes, extra scenes, or
So I just, Nepenthe, Kevin and I have been there many times. We are so lucky. We have made sure we stop there.
How many hats do I have? I have like 2 hats.
I was going to say,
this is one of them.
Yes. Yeah,
That's how much I love that place. I bought a hat.
You've got Moxie hat from Maine, and
Yep.
then on the other coast. So we've covered the whole. Yeah, it is a phenomenal place, and the people, Holly, Kirk, and Aaron, they are the real deal. And you walk into that restaurant, and if anyone's watching, if you've ever been there, there is no restaurant like it in the world. It is one of, I'll say my opinion, just one of the best restaurants in the world. Its location is one thing, right? And when she says you sit down and you receive the land, you feel so privileged to be there. There isn't this like exclusive club. It's not like that at all. Even though you're in California and you don't feel like this exclusivity, like, oh, I don't belong here. I'm not wealthy. It's so down to earth, and you just receive the beauty that you've been given, and the family who owns it absolutely understands that they are stewards of the land. And the menu is really fun and accessible, and then the wine list, of course, because it's California, is like where it just blows your mind. You have to have the hamburger. It's my favorite. It's really kind of like a meatloaf, right? Oh my gosh,
with like an ambrosia sauce or something like that.
With an ambrosia sauce. Oh my gosh, it is heaven. It is heaven on earth. And when we were visiting them, they were going through a very difficult time because of that mudslide. It had cut them off from Los Angeles. It had cut them off, and then the other. So they were in between the mudslide, right, and then the bridge. I think it was the Pfeiffer Bridge. So they were in between. They were totally cut off, and they were trying to keep their employees surviving. They were trying to keep, like, they understood, like, as business owners, as unfortunately it's sort of what's happening now. Like, how do you keep the people you love who work for you in business? And they did, and they were able to slowly come back, and people reached them, and they got there. And when we were there, like you had to do some fancy footwork to get there, but people did. And they're doing. I would imagine they're still doing well. I know we talked to them after, and they were okay. And but just again, just such a great. Oh gosh, great experience. Great experience.
No,
just
I feel like that's one of the more unique and charming things about Big Sur and that part of California is that you have one of the most beautiful coastlines in the world, really, in the world. But like the people that live there, it's kind of a hippie enclave, and it's
there's
not just full of bazillionaires. I mean, I'm sure that there are. I'm sure there are some. There always are. But it's you don't feel that. You don't feel that. It's like you go to other parts of the world when you're on a beautiful coastline and you feel it. Like, what am I doing here? This is not for me.
Yeah.
But Big Sur, it's like.
And Joaquin, who owns the Big Sur bikes, he said it best. Like his family is like his grandmother, his mother-in-law. They're from a different. They're like the pioneers of this land, and you have to be a survivor to live there. This isn't shishi at all, and so you do really feel that these are strong, tough people born of solid American frontiers people stock, and they still deal with just being totally cut off. So. A beautiful episode, and I loved how our voices came in, and they inform you why you should. There's another plane for you, Jeff. Jeff was asking why there wasn't so many planes, but it hasn't been a lot. We are over the flight path. So anyway, the Big Sur, Monterey Bay, just great people, great stories and effort. And again, that is I feel like California has this reputation for just everything being so cool and easy and laid back. And with this, we really wanted to, again, emphasize the effort that it takes to create experiences that we just get to show up and have, whether it's the Monterey Bay Aquarium or a kid 14 years old making great honey, or one of the most beloved restaurants in the world. Like, nothing comes easy, right? It is work. And they do it well, and they're still surviving. And it's up to us as travelers to make sure that we show up for them.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say. Sorry, anything to add? You're like, yeah, dude, he's in quarantine heaven. We have had some fun comments. Stacy Hawkins, I know you said that you, during the whole mudslide cutoff, that you had to drive. The way you could get around is that, and I remember seeing this, hopefully I pronounced it right, the Nacimiento Ferguson Road, and you could go all the way around up into the mountains and down, and that's how you could make it across. But it was, I mean, even looking at it on a map, you were like, oh my God, no. And Stacy Hawkins did it at night. Thank you. I'm glad you survived that. If you know Pauline Fromer, a good friend of ours, head of Fromer Guides, her father, Arthur Fromer, like, you know, legend in travel. She, I believe, made that drive and like almost did not make it. Like, yeah, she was calling her husband saying, I don't know if I'm going to make it, because she had to go around and she had a rental car. And I mean, it's one of these roads where you're like, oh my gosh. And she has a harrowing story about like not thinking, I don't think I'm going to make it, and I'm going to call my husband now just to tell him where I am so they can come and find me. And I'm kind of laughing, but it wasn't a joke. So I hear you, Stacy. Like, what happened in that area? Just that the small part was just, but people made it. Which is closer to this area, San Francisco or LA? I think at this point LA, right?
No, San Francisco.
No, oh, to Nepenthe?
Yeah, it's like 3 hours probably. Maybe
what,
4,
San
but
Francisco, or?
Yeah, for the south of San Francisco, roughly.
But then how far is it to Los Angeles? If it's 4 hours from San Francisco,
5 or 6 maybe. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I felt like we were kind of equidistant at that point. I don't know. It's a beautiful drive. You won't feel time. Believe me. It's just it actually goes away too quick. Yeah, Stacy Hawkins, the community sticks together and supports each other. And I'm sure they're doing that right now through the pandemic, through possibly the fires, if they're experiencing them in Big Sur, but in that area. But yeah, just they're tough as nails. They're tough people. I like them a lot. They're not laid back at all. They're tough, but you can tell they're on your side. Yeah, Catherine Ryan, the coast on the Pacific, it's so dramatic. If you live in California, you realize people travel all over the world to see the view. Funny story, my beloved stylist, Christina, was born in Los Angeles, and she lives in Santa Barbara. And when we were she was in the back seat in the car with me as we're driving, we're doing these shots, and she was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. I can't wait to take my kids here. And I'm like, Christina, you're from California. You've never seen this? And she's like, and then she realized that, yeah, her parents took her, but she always fell asleep when she was a kid, because that's what kids do in the back seat. But even like people from California are like, oh my gosh, there's nothing like it. So, you know, again, I think a lot of us are like, oh, we want to go overseas, and I get that, but we have places in our own backyard, and maybe California isn't a backyard, but it's still within the same country. Oh my gosh, you won't believe it. There's another plane for you, Jeff.
They're playing.
That's the third plane. So what time is it? 10:13? That's interesting. Just so you know, we can, from our apartment, we can look out on our balcony, and you can just see them lining up like constellations, and they're spaced 3 minutes apart. So that's different now in COVID. So it'd be interesting to see how close they are.
Is that like a social distancing thing?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
You know, it's funny, I'm not a golfer, but we celebrated my father's 60th birthday, who is very much a golfer, and we all went to Pebble Beach, which is in Carmel. And, you know, it's not easy to get there. It's not easy it's a crazy amount of money, but, oh man, just to be able to walk that golf course is worth the money, because it's gorgeous. And, you know, unlike the drive where you see it briefly, but the idea of spending 4 hours just walking around this most beautiful place you've ever been, and it doesn't matter about the golf at that point. You know, I'm not a golfer. It was just a very special thing to do, to be there in that point. And I think is it the 17-mile drive that goes all around there? I think that's in that part of Carmel that there's the famous drive that allows you to see all that, and I think you have to pay to take the drive, but it's a thing you can do. But just to have 4 hours to do nothing but just to enjoy the views, and wow, you know, Still don't play golf, but it was a fun day.
Yeah, Bev Riley. I'm from South Oregon, and my vacation plans were to drive the coastal highway to San Diego from Oregon. That's amazing. South Oregon, I can't. The fire stopped everything. I can't wait to get on the road again. Love your attitude. I agree. Yeah, get out there as soon as you can because it is absolutely worth it. Yeah, perfect. And I think it's one of these iconic road trips that just. Yeah, I feel like we've done Ireland. I've done other where it's so rare that the road just hugs the coast like that, and it's a 500-foot drop. So you really feel like you are on the edge of the world.
This is a bit of news for not this weekend, but next weekend. There's a whole showcase on the Create Network that they're going to be playing 10 episodes of Places to Love. All built around the road trip theme. So we'll talk more about that next week.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
And this episode certainly featured, but with the Key West episode, where there's a great road trip. We had a lot of great domestic locations in the U.S. that you do by car. Sonoma, California, I think is on there because the same road. If you go north of San Francisco, this is south of San Francisco. It's still beautiful. It's just different counties and different situations,
Yeah. Lori Minersic. Lori Minersic. When is the best time of the year for this drive? Beautiful when we went in March, but lots of fog obstructing the views. It's a great question, and I know a lot of people are actually from that area, so maybe you can answer Lori's question. When we were there in September, I feel like we had phenomenal weather. The fog would come in, but then we would just wait and it would leave. And so I felt like we weren't socked in by fog, which kind of happens on our coast, like in Maine. I felt like it was ever moving. So, but you're right, there could be a timing to that, or maybe it's just the luck of the draw because it's the ocean. But if anyone is out there in that area and can answer Lori, that would be great.
Well, we did that drive twice in February, March time, and
yeah, I thought we had.
I think we had some kind of muggy days, where kind of cloudy, but I don't remember fog where it was dangerous to drive kind of thing.
No, I agree. And just a shout out to my my cousin Kelly Grow. It just says she joined. Kelly Grow is my cousin, and she's slightly older than me, and she had all the cool clothes, so I would get all of her hand-me-downs. From when I was 4 years old to 12. Thanks, Kelly, and thanks for joining.
Wait. So her clothes are cooler than your older sister Kirsten's clothes? Is that what you're saying?
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh yes. Oh, Kelly's clothes were Kelly had nice clothes. She was the only girl, and I was one of 3 girls. So Kelly got the good clothes, right, Kelly? If you're there, chime in. But yeah, we would get your clothes in literally trash bags and be like, "Oh, Kelly's clothes are here." Let's see. In the summer, okay. So Janelle, yeah. Oh, Janelle. Okay, go ahead.
Jim Campagna asked what our next episode, and this is the last episode of season 1, which is our RV episode all around Oregon. And I would say that's not as producers, but as parents, that's certainly our most special episode we've done. Because the kids are featured heavily, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, that was. We had a lot of firsts on that one. Yeah, like driving a 35-foot RV for the first time, and we live in Brooklyn and take the subway.
You said we. You said we. I don't remember you driving that at all.
Oh my God!
Me do that on camera.
Yeah, Kevin remembers I had a panic attack at 5 a.m. the day we were getting our RV. I was like, "What are we doing? Why are we doing this? Oh my God!" We'll tell you all that kind of stuff. But no, we had the RV, and it was awesome. But there's a lot of anxiety when all of a sudden you go from just walking to places to all of a sudden having real true responsibility.
She had the same panic attack when we bought our minivan. What are we going to do with this minivan? It's so big. In the city. What are we going to do?
That's true. I don't want a car. Oh yeah, so Stacy Hawkins asked, so will the kids be special guest commentators next week? A good idea. We should put them to work.
Is there a way we can make sure we block their teachers so they know that they're not up at 10 o'clock at night on the school day? I don't know. Does Facebook allow for that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, anyway, so thank you. So I think we're what do you think, Kev? Anything else to?
Jeff asked a great question. Wednesday or Thursday? I think just for old time's sake, we should probably do our last episode this stretch on Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah. We'll go back to our regular scheduled event. Yeah, absolutely. Wednesday. So we will see you next Wednesday, 9 p.m. for not our last Facebook Live, but our last episode of Season 1, our RV episode, Oregon. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a wonderful night, and we will see you in a week.
Night.